Hey there! In this video I want to explain how I developed this pattern for recording movement and looping, playing back the movement in p5.js. This is an experiment, part of a bigger project at my college, which I call Exploring Creative Technologies. And I was doing some exchange with a colleague of mine. She's doing her master thesis and visualizing the movement of dancers, and I was chatting with her and was asking myself, how could you do some recording of movement in p5.js? We use p5.js a lot in our college, and I found that an interesting question and thought maybe it could also help her in her project. So I developed this pattern which you could use for recording movement and playing it back. Quick overview over p5.js for those who don't know. JavaScript framework. So it's made for the web, it's made for designers and artists to have like a simplified code base, and it works on the canvas. So you basically always start with a blank canvas and draw on top of that. You have two functions. You have function setup and function draw per default in the older versions of p5, and it's written like this. So I'm working in the 1.1 version, and setup gets called once when the application starts, and then draw gets run 60 times a second. In setup, I define my canvas to be as wide as the window, and I say the background should be white. Then in draw, again I draw color on the background. And what I'm doing here is I'm saving the current mouse position. So mouse X is when I'm here, on the left it's 0, when I'm here it's full width, something about a few hundred right now. And what lerp does, it delays the number, so you get that smooth movement. And I store that in mxlerp and mylerp. So these are basically the mouse positions. Then I say if mouse pressed. So I have two concepts. I have first the recording of the movement. So I say always when I press the mouse, the movement should be recorded, and when I leave the mouse, it should be played back. So two concepts. First, if the mouse is pressed, then hide the cursor, draw the shape. Draw shape is another function I define down here, which is just, I give it a color and I say draw this circle at these positions. At the current X and Y positions, these mxlerp and mylerp. So if I press the mouse, it's always on my mouse cursor basically. And then the important part, I say the current position gets created as a vector and stored in a global positions array, in the list of, so positions is basically a list of vectors of position values where my mouse has been while I pressed it. So as soon as I leave the mouse, I now have a list full of positions, and then I can say else if the mouse is not pressed and the list has more items than 0, you can show the cursor again, first of all, and then I have this increment value. Frame count goes from 0 to 60 in a second, so it's 60 FPS. and this is a modular sign, so it gives the rest to position length, and so it runs 60 times a second through this length array. Basically, at one point it will give back this 0, and if this increment value gets to 0, the list gets flipped, so that makes this ping pong effect you saw right here. So the movement also turns and goes in the other direction. That's not needed, but it's a nice effect, I think. And down here I say that's the important part: draw the shape at the position of increment. So increment, as I said, it goes 60 frames a second through this position array. So it's like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, goes through that until it reaches the maximum length of position. Yeah, and that's basically it. I have another mouse pressed function down here which clears everything. So if I press the mouse, it makes a white screen and also clears this list, this array of the positions I had before. So always when I press, I have a new list. Right now I'm filling the list with new positions, 60 times a second, and now it gets played back. Yeah, and that's it. That's one way to record movement and play back the movement. And yeah, I'm sorry for my computer. I did make some noise in the background. I hope that clarifies this, and yeah, feel free to use this and ask me if something's unclear.